Hello, everyone, and welcome to our channel. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
And today we're going to talk about Cheryl Reeve, who claims that the WNBA championship was stolen from them. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so and hit the notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next video. So at the press conference, she talked about the foul, said it was incidental contact. There shouldn't have been a foul called. Then later in the press conference, Cheryl Reeve said that the championship was stolen from them. Now, it was only one play. There was 5 games. It was lousy officiating through the whole series, from what I understand and what I saw. But the thing is, she doesn't care about whether things are unfair or not, Rob, or else Caitlin Clark would have been on the Olympic team.
Yeah, what is she whining about? It's not fair. It's not fair. Well, you weren't fair when you wanted to evaluate to have people on the Olympic team. You could have had Caitlin Clark when you had two Surrey-Ham players that shouldn't have been on the team. It was obvious. And you almost blew the chance of the Olympics because of that. Because you were stubborn.
Nobody in the league, not one person, even the commissioner, the head of the refs, cared that Caitlin Clark got screwed over by the refs for 42 games. 42 games she got screwed over. Nobody cared about that. No one cared about the unfairness of that. No, that didn't happen. The Indiana Fever, as a result, got screwed over.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Well, now they're crying about how bad the referees are. I'm like, oh, wow, geez, it took you this long for the playoffs to determine that? Of course the refs suck. They suck the whole year for everybody. So now it's coming to light at the playoffs. Where have you been?
Rob, I wasn't surprised that this came up as the lousy officiating determined the championship. I would have been surprised if it didn't determine the championship. That's how bad the officiating has been the entire year in this league. And going back to the Olympic team, Cheryl Reeves is not in the committee, but we all know she had a huge say in who was on the team. She even publicly said, I don't know anything about Caitlin Clark. I've never been in the trenches with her. So she made it quite clear that she told the committee she didn't want her on the team. And she said that. And Rob, she was in the trenches with Diana Taurasi, but yet she didn't even play in the final game. And yes, she said she was in the trenches with Chelsea Gray, but Chelsea Gray played like crap because she was injured. And she barely played in the finals also, final game. So if these people are so trench-oriented for you to want to play them in the trenches, why weren't they playing in the final game? Because they played like crap.
Yeah, she had determination who was going to be on the team, even though they say she didn't. And she didn't want them. She could have said, well, this player's hurt. Graves not playing up the park. She's just recovering. She just got back. So why don't we just put the young woman in there, sensation in there, let her play and see how she does. I mean, like I said, she didn't play them anyway. If Clark was on the team, she wouldn't have. Even though she was making great assists, she probably wouldn't even play her that much. Even Mark, if she was on the Olympic team, she probably still wouldn't even play.
Well, once she found out that Chelsea Gray was more injured than was let on, I think she would have played Caitlin Clark. When she saw Caitlin Clark in a practice and saw how great a passer she was in person, she would have said, "Oh, I got to play this woman." She would have said that, and we know that if she said to the committee, "Get Caitlin Clark on my team. We need her to win this championship. She's a great passer, a great point guard. She can give us stretch the offense out with her 3-point shooting." She's on the team immediately. She's on the team, Rob. We know that. So she basically kept Caitlin Clark off the team, and that was unfair because Diana Taurasi was over the hill and didn't belong on the team. They didn't need leadership. They had Brianna Stewart and A'ja Wilson, the 2 best players in the league, both who had 2 championships and 2 MVPs. They could be their leaders for the team.
Right.
And they also didn't need Chelsea Gray because she was injured, and they could have replaced her once they found out when she tried to come back from the injury, she wasn't ready yet. That's what they did in the NBA. They replaced Kawhi Leonard when they found out his injury were worse than they thought.
Right.
And the roster, they didn't have to turn in the roster that early. And even if they did, they could have changed it up until I think it was 48 to 72 hours before the start of the Olympics when they found out that Diana Taurasi had injuries during that time period too. And maybe that's why she shot so poorly. She had a back and a lower calf injury. Chelsea Gray was hobbling all over the place. They were both liabilities on defense, and they didn't belong in the Olympic team, and Caitlin Clark did. And Cheryl Reeve kept her off the team, and that was unfair.
Yeah.
And they almost lost the gold medal because of her stubbornness and her pettiness And we know she's petty because she was all jealous of her in the first place when she said, oh, this is league's not all about one person. Yeah, it's not all about one person. But guess what? She's popular. Deal with it.
Yeah, I thought the objective was to win. So then, yeah, you kept her off the team, and then she showed you how good she was in the All-Star game, and people were just going, "Ooh!" Everybody's wondering who watched it, going, "How the hell could you keep her off the All-Star team compared to these other two players?" And she's not on the All-Star. She's not on the Olympic team. Something's going wrong? Everybody right there exposed the way she was as far as a coach, and then also the Olympic Committee. It just exposed them right there. Like, come on, you telling me Caitlin Clark could have made your Olympic team definitely better?
Oh, of course she would, Rob. The players would have loved playing with her because she's a pass first player, and to be a pass first player on a team with a bunch of scorers, she would help tremendously. And the reason they had trouble against that French team is because they slowed it down. Caitlin Clark wouldn't allow them to slow it down. That's why it was 25-25 at halftime.
Yeah, that was brutal. Another brutal women's game.
You're all delusional if you didn't think Caitlin Clark was going to help that team. I had one guy say in the comments in our video, Caitlin Clark would have been a DMP in the finals. No, she wouldn't have. She would have played a lot because of the type of suffering defense they were playing and slowing the game down. That's ridiculous.
So with Reeve running about saying that they got ripped off, and the finals and the referee call. I've watched it. And then they showed different angles, but I've watched the videos, and they show one picture. We saw one video where they showed a picture, still picture, but it was a foul. It's a foul, and that's it. Just get over it.
We saw another whole video of this, and you can see that as Brianna Stewart is going up with the ball, she's going straight up. She isn't going to the defender. The defender reaches her hand forward towards the offensive player, puts her hand on Brianna Stewart as she's going up, which is going to affect the shot. And then as she releases the ball, there's no contact whatsoever. So the foul occurred before the actual release of the ball as she's going up. That's going to greatly affect the shot. It just completely throws your motion off. There's no way you're on the left hand.
The foul is on the left hand, but then with the picture it shows it like that she didn't touch her, and then it shows her hand towards the ball. But then the people are saying, "Oh, she went straight up." She did not go straight up. If her arms are forward going towards the ball, that's not straight up.
And her feet were not completely still when Brianna Stewart got to the point where the contact where they're standing next to each other. So they weren't completely still. They were almost, but it was still shuffling her feet a little bit. She wasn't completely in place in defensive position. But either way, that was not the worst call in the world. Okay? Yeah. It could be called a foul. It could be not called a foul. Rob says it's a foul. Would you have called it live? I don't know. But it's clearly a foul because the way her hand gets hit as she's going up, it's going to affect the foul. And even if it wasn't, too bad. You got ripped off. As much as I like Nafisa Collier, and as great as she played in that 5 series and in the second half of the year, I feel bad for Nafisa Collier. But I don't feel bad for Cheryl Reeves in this particular case because I'm not convinced it shouldn't have been called a foul. And even if they were ripped off, guess what? You ripped off Caitlin Clark. That's karma. I will say one thing, that at least Cheryl Reeve backs up her team after the press conference.
Yeah.
And the team feels, well, she's behind us, because Christy Sides did just the opposite since preseason. She threw her players underneath the bus. Caitlin Clark more than anyone. They never felt like she had her back. She got 2 technicals the whole year and only got 1 after they made her feel guilty for not having any technicals after they said it was her job to challenge the calls and not Caitlin Clark's job. And then she got 1 in the playoffs. The rest of her year, rest of the regular season, she never got a technical. She never challenged the refs, Rob.
And then the main thing, like I was saying, Mark, with the last one, with Caitlin Clark and poked in the eye, as a coach, I would have ran out on the court to see if there's nobody on there to see if she was okay. I would have ran out on the court and to see if she was okay.
In fact,
I couldn't believe that.
Play stopped after they realized Caitlin Clark wasn't getting up after the basket, and it was an inbound. And Erica Wheeler ran off the bench to hover over Caitlin Clark to see if she was okay. Where was the coach? If Erica Wheeler can run off the bench, the freaking coach can run over there.
I mean, I wouldn't have waited. I mean, with me, it wouldn't have been a dead ball situation. I would have ran out on the court. I probably would have got a technical foul for running on the court, but I'm taking care of my players. She got poked in the eye.
But even if you waited till the basket was, as soon as the basket was scored, you would have ran over.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I'm not going to wait till the play ends. I'm running on the court right now to see if my player's okay. This person's okay, especially get poked in the eye. You don't know what the heck's going on. No one was around her. I couldn't believe that. She was just lying there. No one was there. Not even a referee didn't go over and see if she was okay.
Right.
Like,
I don't know. That's so ridiculous. There was not a foul called on that.
Yeah, right. And there wasn't a foul called on it, Mark. There wasn't even a foul call. What the hell?
And nobody cares about how unfair the whole league traded Caitlin Clark the entire year. Just how unfair you got on one call, which is I'm not even convinced it was an unfair call. You can argue either way. Either way, even if you got robbed, even if you got ripped off, you ripped off Caitlin Clark, and you ripped off a lot of fans from watching Caitlin Clark in the Olympics, because Caitlin Clark should have had a gold medal, and Diana Taurasi and Chelsea Gray, one of those two shouldn't have had one, because one of those two should have been off the team. So, in fact, I would argue both of them should have been on the team, and you should probably put on Angel Reese or Leah Boston, some young player that you could have developed for the next Olympics, which is what they've done traditionally every Olympics in men's and women's basketball.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I would argue neither of those two players should have been on the team, and they were only on the team because Cheryl Reeve wanted them on the team.
And for her complaining about how physical the game was, you were physical too. That's your whole plan during the whole year. That's why your team is so good in defense. It has the most foul calls on you for the whole year. You're a physical team too, and now you're whining about it, how physical the game was and how the fix is in. And I'm like, come on. I mean, very rarely do you, as a coach, you try not to say the referees blew the game for you because there's other factors. But there are certain plays where maybe if the referee had made that call, you might have won. But in general, if you're a loser, you're a loser. If you say, "Oh, the referees blew the game for us," what about the other plays during the game? What about you as a coach?
Well, Rob, from what I've seen, they're the most physical team in the league, and they get away with more fouls than anyone else in the league. That's my opinion. You know, in my limited time seeing, because I only watched them when they played the Indiana Fever in part of the finals. But that's my opinion. They're a very physical, handsy team. And, you know, and New York Liberty was too also. I'm not saying they aren't second and Connecticut Sun aren't third, because they are. I think those three teams, by the way, the most successful three teams are the most physical teams in the league and get away with more fouls than anyone else in the league, in my opinion.
Right.
And the top four, I wouldn't say top four, because the Aces did too. As we saw when they played the Indiana Fever, where suddenly Asia Wilson didn't commit any fouls for an entire game against Aaliyah Boston, and Aaliyah Boston committed 6. Somehow only Aaliyah Boston was committing fouls when they were going, you know, bumping up against each other in the post the entire game.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was
right. I believe that. Talk about unfair.
So Coach Reeve, are you going to do something about the refs, since you said the referees blew the game for you? You guys didn't say anything during the year about it. So now when it really
the refs were fine because they were getting away with more fouls than anyone else during the year, Rob.
Right, until that game. Yeah, the refs were great for them until this game. They were fine. No complaints.
Guess what, Cheryl? I don't give 2 S's. And I don't give 1 S either. Just so you know. Exactly. I feel sorry for your players, but not for you. I'll be quite clear on that. And someone had to win that series. It was a tight series. I didn't care one way or another. So I don't have any, stake in this. So I'm not being biased and anything like that. It's not clear to me it should have been overturned, the foul call.
Right.
So anyways, Rob thinks it's a foul. I'll go with what Rob said. The hand-on-hand rule is very vague. The hand is part of the ball. It's not when your entire hand is over someone else's hand as they're going up and completely affects the shot. How is that not a foul?
I know. That's what I said. That saying just drives me nuts. Hands part of the ball. I'm like, all right. Let us know what you think.
Let us know. Yeah. Let us know what you think about Cheryl Reeves and karma for her. She got robbed. Okay, fine. You robbed a gold medal off of Caitlin Clark. That's what I have to say.
Karma.
Let us know what you think. Yeah, down below. I really want to hear what you have to say. And about Christy Sides not backing up her team. Now, let's know what you think about that. Because that's, at least she set a good example in that particular case. Have their teams back. The team's got to feel like you're behind them. And I don't think Christy Sides does that.
No.
Anyways, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do, so you get notified of our next video. If you like the video, hit the like button. And join us for our live show. It was really good last night. Every Monday, except for major holidays, from 6 to 8 Eastern time. And if you want to donate to this channel, there's super chats and super thanks down below. and there's a link to PayPal. And we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.